Hello, Debbie Taylor here, Chief Tax Strategist and Managing Partner at Carson Wealth. And I am here to talk to you about 10-layer cakes. And you're like, what does tax planning have to do with a 10-layer cake? Well, that's basically what we're dealing with in the tax code, is layer after layer after layer of tax legislation. And now it's up to us to try to track how that all integrates, how that works together. And so coming into 2026, let's consider OBBA and other tax laws in everything we do. And so let's do a quick primer just as a reminder. First of all, those of you who get tips and overtime, right? OBBA allows us to deduct them up to a certain dollar amount, but you can't make over a certain amount of modified adjusted gross income, and I'll call that MAGI, right? And so if we make over $300,000, then the tip income's not available, and overtime deduction, similar types of phase outs, right? And so let's be sensitive to that. That extra senior deduction, right? How exciting is that? That extra senior deduction is $6,000 per person age 65 and over. So for a married couple, they can have a standard deduction of $46,700. And remember, it's not just about having a standard deduction of $46,700. It's what that enables you to do. Roth conversions, drawing down those traditional IRAs, capital gain harvesting at a 0% tax bracket possibly, right? So very, very cool, $46,700 standard deduction when you're factoring in all of what's available when you're 65 and over. But remember, you've got to make under $250,000 a year. Enhanced SAW, up to $40,000. But you've got to make under $500,000 to qualify for that full $40,000. And also remember, you got to start itemizing again. And many of you have not itemized in literally like 7 or 8 years. And your accountants might be out of practice. You're out of practice. So go out, you got to collect those receipts, track your medical, track your charitable, track your state and local tax deductions, and let's make the most of itemizing and then maybe bunching, right? Alternate years. Itemize 1 year, standard deduction next year. A lot of ways to approach this. And then, of course, there's vehicle purchase loan interest, which is also a possibility, something to consider. Also, remember, under OBBA, starting in 2026, we've got charitable deductions. If you take the standard deduction, then you might be able to take a $1,000 or $2,000 charitable deduction, but it's got to be a cash contribution, and it's got to be to a charity, not a donor advised fund or a private foundation. And so let's remember that. And those are some key then provisions coming into 2026. Most of them are based on Trump campaign promises. Most of them have beginning and end dates. Most of them have phase outs so that you don't qualify if you make over a certain amount of income. And so we've got to be proactive. We've got to be thoughtful. Let's figure this out. Let's work together so that we can keep as much in our pocket and not tip the government. And with that then, thank you.